take projection.
Welcome everybody to Taking on Sports. I am TD. That is Greg. Greg, how you doing today, man?
I am good. How are you today, sir?
I'm pretty good. Just trying to stay warm here a little. Getting cold again after a couple of warm days and some. The time of year in Alabama it gets a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
little warm for a few days and then
Right.
it's like, oh wait, tornadoes. And
Yeah,
now it's
I'll never forget that time. It was sometime in December, right about finals time. They had a small tornado knock
hmm
down the BP sign on McFarland, and I slept through
yeah. Me too. Right through the one corner of 50 and
it.
McFarland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
The BP on the corner knocked down their signs and stuff.
that's funny.
I slept through it. Didn't even realize anything
That's
happened.
funny. I did too. I didn't know you did
Yeah,
too. I remember my mom calling me after that, but like, is
yeah.
everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, just about to go to class, or she's like, oh, they didn't cancel. I'm like, no. She's like, she's like, even with a tornado, and I'm like, tornado. And she goes, yeah. She was
Yeah.
like, I was like, I took a nap. Sorry, like slept through it.
Yeah. Yep. I did the same.
Oh man, but let's begin this week, folks, with some baseball. Actually, finally, the big first domino. A couple of them fell. Actually, the first thing to happen was actually Juan Soto traded to your Yanks. How you feel about that one?
Man, that was huge. Got a young guy in there, a lot of talent, a lot of years left, and didn't have to give up a lot of talent. So that was actually, I think, a huge pickup for the
Mhm.
Yankees.
Yeah, and it's kind of that old school Yankee mentality of, you know what, fuck it, let's go get the best players. Just that kind
Yeah,
of European soccer, like Manchester United. Yeah, that kind
yeah,
of like we're gonna buy the.
right.
We got.
By the top
Mhm.
talent, bring
Yeah,
them
we
in.
got the money, so let's go get it. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah, and you mentioned that they didn't have to give up a whole lot. Kind of in the end, the Nationals kind of win this trade a roundabout way, getting all they got
hmm
for Soto in the first place. And you mentioned it too. He's still only
yeah,
25, which is crazy
right. It's crazy to think
for guys good
about.
as he is. That he can come in and still maybe his best seasons are still ahead of him. That's scary.
Yeah, he could still have 10 good years easy.
hmm Um, and then of course, yeah, that's so hopefully, for you and Yankees fans, that really kind of jump starts that offense again next year. Um,
Yeah,
I know y'all probably got some,
still have some work to do,
yeah,
but it's a good start.
yeah. And then of course the other big one we've been waiting for weeks, but Shohei Ohtani signs with the Dodgers, 10 years, $700 million. Um,
Wow.
Told my wife when I saw that I really wish it my parents hadn't been so cool and just let me play whatever I want and had forced me to play one sport and made me get really good at it
Right?
because
Baseball was what it was
uh-huh.
that. Who
Oh
knew?
man, like hockey was fun, but I ain't seen no $700 million contracts in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Crazy. I kind of thought that's where he was going to end up all along. I know there's a lot of strong reports that Toronto might swoop in and take him, and the Cubs were mentioned. But are you surprised at all that he ends up just kind of still in the SoCal?
No, I mean, he already has quite the fan base there, and it makes sense to just stay there to one of the biggest story franchises in all of baseball, and keeps him relevant as they were starting to fall off a little bit. Brings them right back into the fold there as a continued success because with they've been good, but they haven't really had anything to get them over the top, and that might be what they needed to make them back into a perennial favorite again. Last couple of seasons they've kind of fallen off. I mean, still a good team, but good regular season team, but they've gone to the playoffs and kind of had some struggles there. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that'll be their difference.
Yeah, I think kind of similar to your Yanks. They still have some work to do. They still,
Mm-hmm.
starting pitching because he's not going to pitch this year. with the surgery and all that.
Yeah, but that was Tommy John.
Um, yeah, as a Braves fan, it sucks. That's kind of them and the Phillies are the biggest rivals for the NL crown, and
Right.
um,
Yeah.
but in a roundabout way, the Braves. There's rumors that they may have been in there as one of those teams that might have offered like a 2-year deal or something, but that's not. I mean, of course, adding his bat to any lineup is
It's gonna
superb. But
help.
yeah, but what the Braves need is start pitching, and what this does maybe means that Max
Mhm.
Fried now will be less inclined to go somewhere else, and we can keep him in Atlanta. Um,
Right.
he'll be a free agent after this season.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. I mean, if you want to just for sure pitcher, just with with this Tommy Johns, and then as eventually, no matter how good he is at both, like it's hard to keep up at that star level as both a hitter and a pitcher. I
Yeah,
mean, being honest, like just to stay at that top level, it's amazing what he's done to this point. And I'm sure we'll see some more amazing pitching. But yeah, I mean, the Braves don't necessarily need a guy that's only going to hit this year, and then by next year, is it going to be as good? Who knows? How does the injury affect his pitching abilities? So and long term, I think that that I'm not gonna miss out too much. I'll get the right folks in there because I mean you have everything but the pitching, the hitting. You guys have that down to a
yeah,
science. It's just the Phillies are the roadblock.
yeah. If they could get by the Phillies in the playoffs, or not have to play the Phillies in
Right.
the playoffs, that'd be great.
Right. That'd be
But yeah,
right.
and even a noted Yankee hater, I am, Braves fan, and then growing up in Baltimore, I am a believer that
Right.
there are certain teams that need to be good for sports, and the Yankees need to be good for baseball. I think it help,
Yeah. Bring something
yeah,
to
it helps to have someone to hate, at the top of the game.
it.
Um,
Yeah, because really, I mean, if the Yankees aren't there, I mean, who do people really hate? I mean,
hmm
of course, you hate your rivals, but if they're in like a really national, oh, we hate, you know, I guess without the Yankees, there really isn't that in baseball. I guess the Astros to a certain
yeah,
point just because of the
hmm
cheating thing, but we're so many years past that, like, do people really hate the Astros anymore? Probably not.
Yeah, I
So,
think it's still there a little bit, but yeah, it's like starting to wear off that hate. And then I think the Braves have
right,
picked up some because they haven't changed their name yet.
right. But, I mean,
But they also have like such a fun team. Like it's hard to root against guys like Acuna and Ozzy Albies, and yeah,
yeah, I mean, there's no one to really hate.
hmm
Um, And even with the name, like, is it really disrespectful? Like,
yeah, that's a whole argument, and all
the ba-
that. And
right,
I'm on the side. I think they should change it just to get it over with. Do that, change it.
right. That's
But yeah, they still have the support of the Cherokee tribes that they pay to have that name, and um,
right.
but then yeah, that's a whole different conversation. We could do a whole podcast on
That's a
that.
whole
Yeah.
the whole thing on that, by itself.
But yeah, those are the two big events in baseball this week. So now you'll start to see, I believe, all the other free agent dominoes fall.
Following
Yeah. I know.
that, yes,
Speaking of the Braves, they've made a ton of trades so far, little tiny trades here and there to, I guess, free up some room or
hmm
whatever. Seems like Double A, the Braves GM, not Arn Anderson, of course. Um, uh, working on something, so we'll see. Like I said, we are all waiting for that Otani domino to fall. Now that it's down, we'll see what
right.
happens.
What else happens?
We'll move on to our usual starting spot. College football. Last night, Jaden Daniels won the Heisman Trophy. Um, I felt like he was the guy that deserved it the most. You agree?
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely say so. I mean, just because there wasn't a better player per se out of the main. I mean, of course, there may have been better players, but not necessarily out of the outside of major programs. You're not going to get a guy. So yeah, I mean, you have to look. Where would LSU be without
Mm,
him?
yeah,
You look at that, and maybe they're a 500 team. Maybe.
maybe. I mean, there were
Who
three
knows?
loss team with him.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So maybe 500, maybe under. And yeah, so they're not anywhere near what they are without Jaden
Mm-mm.
Daniels. And just the numbers, sheer numbers he put up were ridiculous. I mean, we always talk about the great season by Joe Burrow, and he had more total yards than him, more touchdowns. I mean, just phenomenal. And if they had been, if they had won the West or been in the SEC championship game, it's a runaway. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even a consideration.
Oh yeah, he wins it in like one of the biggest landslide votes
Yeah,
ever.
right, exactly. Kind of like Joe did
Yeah, exactly.
in 2019. Yeah, or other things we've seen there. But you know, it, it's kind of good to get away from, because the idea of the Heisman is not about the best player on the best
Mm-hmm.
team. It's about the best player in college football. I mean, that's the definition of the Heisman. And the last 6, 7 seasons they've really gotten away from that and pretty much given it to a team in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs, best player, honestly. And you can debate whether they all deserved it or not, but this year, I mean, Michael Penix was, second in the voting, and very, very definitely deserved to be there as well. But just didn't have quite the numbers, and he didn't have to have quite the
Mm-hmm.
numbers that Jaden Daniels did, because he had more talent around him. They may be a little underrated, but that defense came through clutch at several points of the season. So he had more around him, and but Uh, it was, I guess those two were kind of the only ones who really, he was, I think, 100 and some votes behind, but well, more than 100. But he was definitely the only person in consideration other than Jaden. But yeah, Jaden, I mean, there was really no doubt about it. I mean, stats spoke for themselves, and it's good to see that they got away from that model they've been looking at of best player on the best team, which isn't a true uh, reason for the Heisman, which is the best player in college
Yeah,
football.
I
So
think I mentioned it some point during the season, but it's a most outstanding player award. It's not a most valuable player.
mhm,
That's valuable is one of those
right,
things that yeah, if your team doesn't make the playoffs, then maybe you shouldn't win it because if you're the most valuable, you'd lead them to the playoffs. Although you can make an argument again, like you mentioned, like if you take him off this team and as if Max Johnson is still their quarterback, are they even a
yeah,
bowl eligible team with that defense? Who knows?
right, right.
Um,
Yeah, who
yeah, and like you said, his
he-
stats, just his literal video game numbers. I know I've said this before too, but that is an overused term. People like, oh, video game numbers. Like Jaden Daniels put actual video game numbers up. Um,
and the most impressive thing is, I mean, he put those numbers up even after. I mean, they're out of playoff contention, they're out of SEC contention, but yet he
mhm.
still went out and balled out. I mean, he could easily said, "I'm done with the season," sat
Yeah,
out.
yeah, exactly.
After the Alabama game, I mean, he could have said, "Hey, I got hit hard. I got this concussion. I'm gonna sit
Yeah,
out." He did the exact opposite. His numbers went through the roof
yeah.
after that.
And we'll see if he plays in the bowl game and all that. I haven't seen anything that said he won't. But
Right.
and he's
He's
still
had
kind of he's a guy that he's still kind of got to make his case for NFL scouts because he's a little undersized. But
right.
I'll tell you, man, if I'm a NFL team and I need a quarterback, I'd take a chance on him at least because if
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
protect him, put a little bulk on him, add 20, 30
yeah.
pounds to his frame.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. But if you have a decent line, I mean, he has the skill set. I
mm-hmm,
mean,
mm-hmm,
he has a skill set. I mean, he has a mobility. You put him with the right play callers. Someone would love to have a Jaden Daniels. Is and the thing with him, he's probably not going to be your top 5 pick quarterback, and that may very well work out well for him because if he goes to a team that's not necessarily looking for a quarterback right
mm-hmm.
now, can learn a little bit, sit, and ease into the position.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's a guy that he's not just a scrambler. He can make the throws.
No, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Like his improvement since he's come to LSU is through the roof. Like when he came to LSU, he was simply a runner.
mhm.
Like you didn't have to respect his passing game. This year, completely different quarterback.
Yeah, maybe
Completely
that's
different quarterback.
something I don't know. Of Brian Kelly, almost called him Chip. Uh, maybe that's something that he should get credit for. Maybe. Um,
Right.
but
Maybe
either
so.
way, yeah, look, Jaden Daniels in this final form of his very much reminds me of Lamar Jackson, a guy who can
Hmm.
absolutely stand in the pocket and make the throws. He's got a great arm. He's very accurate. He can really drop in, and if you give him two big receivers like he had this year, he can throw those 50-50 balls like and in
Oh
the
yeah.
right place for his receivers to get them too. Um,
Right. Exactly.
but he's obviously a great runner, but I think he's most dangerous not on design runs, but when he can scramble and the defense is, they're
Hmm.
paying attention to the receivers and the passing, and then he takes off,
And it opens
and
it
he
up.
is so
Right.
dangerous in the open field. He is a really
Oh,
he's
is
a
he?
good he's a
Oh
great
boy.
runner, like not just fast and quick,
Yeah.
but his vision, his cuts, yeah.
Smart runner. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, we agree. Yeah, obviously the right choice. I will say, shame on the the committee for. I don't understand why they just don't invite five guys every year. Because Jordan Travis finished fifth in the voting. You're telling me you can't get that man to New York? Let him sit in that room?
Jeez, why
I
not?
know. Come on.
Because honestly, I guess my biggest gripe was this. Yes, Marvin Harris Jr. Heck of a
Mhm,
player. He's gonna have a hell of an NFL career. Should have a hell of an NFL career.
mhm,
But was he? Did he do anything else? I didn't think he did anything super extraordinary to be at the
mhm.
Heisman.
Yeah.
Myself, I mean, it was. I mean, if his name isn't Marvin Harris and it's not Ohio State, he's not getting invited. I mean, it was a nice season, but I mean, it wasn't like earth shattering. I mean, Neighbors had as good of his numbers. Ozuna, Washington.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know.
Uh,
Maybe I understand why he was there because I mean he's definitely a top talent. He's gonna, but I mean based upon his numbers, I mean it wasn't anything that was like he has to be invited to the Heisman. But
mhm.
that's I don't know.
Yeah, no, I kind of see what you're saying. Um, yeah, he was basically the by far the best receiver in the country, probably, but didn't have quite like a Devonte Smith year a couple years ago, where,
Right,
um,
exactly.
but
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I just didn't understand why he was there necessarily. I
mhm,
mean, yeah, I mean I would probably have Jordan Travis because I mean you see the difference, and also I mean if he is that big of a reason why supposedly why Florida State's not in the playoff because of the difference in quarterback. Obviously, it means that much to the team, which means he's pretty valuable. And most, I don't know, you go undefeated and you miss the playoff because he's not invited or not put on the team. Why isn't he not invited to New York? That doesn't make sense. That's kind of the double standard of the Heisman is most valuable player, and obviously he means a lot to that team.
yeah,
So I don't know. I would have definitely had to at least let him come to New York.
hmm,
'Cause why not?
yeah, exactly. Why not? Um, moving on. So, of course, last week we did our live reaction to the college football playoff selection show.
Hmm.
Greg, I've gotten some good positive feedback on your yow um, when Alabama was revealed to be the 14. But we won't talk about the a lot of backlash this week about it. Understandably so, to a degree. A lot of people, pretty much every article, every sports website you read, FSU was robbed. This is a sham. The committee has made a mockery
Hmm.
of themselves. Blah 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 blah. Um, I just want to say, first of all, I don't know what people expect out of the committee who has changed the guidelines, their criteria
Every
every
week.
year, every week. I mean, we saw it
You
the
don't know
very
what.
first year was it Baylor. TCU was, assuredly in because they were the Big 12 champ, and then
Hmm.
Ohio State jumps in out of nowhere. We saw
Hmm.
Ohio State again jump over Penn State, who was actually a conference champion, but they had two losses,
Right.
and so Ohio State jumped them, and then got shut out.
Yeah.
We've seen them value, Alabama before in 2017 as a not a team that didn't even win their division, and then we've seen them leave teams out because they didn't win. This is just
Mm-hmm.
a thing that
There's
changes
no.
every week, and it's again, not to be conspiracy theorists, but it gives them a good way to point at next year and be like, "See, we need 12 teams. This wouldn't be an issue." But also, uh, this is college football. It's the stupidest sport in a great way, but it's the stupidest sport when it comes to determining a champion because for decades, what the first 120, 30 years of the sport, we picked a champion by sports writers voting on it.
Yeah, 8 people or what? And before that, it was a hundred different polls before
Uh,
the AP got recognized as the official.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, so many different champions back in the
yeah.
day.
The AP era starts in 1936, and if you go look at pre 36 champions, it's Jesus. There are 14 different metrics or polls. Uh, teams. What's the old joke in 2004? I think Golf Digest declared Auburn a national title, and like the NCAA recognizes these weird little things. A lot of
Yeah.
Bama haters like to bitch about Alabama claiming so many titles. If you look at the NCAA record book, they actually give Alabama even more titles that we officially as a school don't even
Oh,
recognize.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
it's just, I mean,
And honestly, if you and just to talk about the Alabama for a quick second, outside of that 41 title, there's not a title that you can't say Alabama could have easily been a national champ.
yeah.
That 41 one questionable. Outside of that, uh, I mean, there's not one that you could say they definitely didn't couldn't be in
Yeah, I
title
think there's one in
consideration.
one of those 70s, maybe 73 or something. They split with somebody. I think they lost their bowl game, but even then, you're right. Like, and I mean, hell, speaking of that, up until what the 60s, they voted on the champ before the bowl games. I mean,
Right,
this has
exactly.
always been a dumb.
So
Then they had the bowl coalition, which tried to match up teams, and but still the Rose Bowl kept no. We have to have the Big Ten and Pac-10 champs together. So that excluded 1 and 2 matchups. They did that for the first half of the BCS. It wasn't until like what, like
mm,
uh, I think that Texas USC year, honestly, when the Rose Bowl was finally like, all right, we'll let someone else play in the role, or we'll let those champions go with their number one or number
yeah,
two. Um,
yeah, that was definitely one of the first times.
yeah. It's just always been just the dumbest process. And my thing about people bitching about the committee, or especially like the Florida State AD and all these guys coming out and be like, "This is a
Mm,
mockery. Why do we even play the games?" First of all, no, you can kiss my ass on that because you, as an AD, as school presidents, you have
mm,
had opportunities, hundreds, if not thousands of them, to be like, you know what? We want to respect the regular season, which all the writers and people like college football historians love so much to tout the sanctity of college football's regular season, how much it means so much. Well, if it meant that much, then how come we don't already have a playoff system where every conference champ gets in? We could have
yeah,
had this
exactly.
decades upon decades ago and done it like you do in the lower levels, do it like in every other sport in
Mm,
America, where your conference champions get in the playoffs and then a few at larges, and then you go from there. If you actually valued the
yeah,
regular
could
season,
have been.
until then, I don't care about any regular season. It means nothing argument now because it's bullshit. Because if you actually thought that way, we would have all the conference champs make the playoffs, even from the SEC
Exactly.
down to the MAC.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing that's so funny about that, with the whole ACC argument and the ACC commission being so upset, you, sir, joined with the Big Ten and the Pac-12 with that little coalition against the
Mm-hmm.
SEC. Were upset when Texas and OU came and squashed the expansion in
Mm-hmm.
23. The expansion was originally supposed to happen this
Uh huh.
year, but you decided it was best to join up with those guys, go with what the Big Ten thought was the best, and look at you
Yeah.
now. The Big Ten's laughing at both you guys. They took half of the Pac 12 and then kept the ACC out of the playoff. And look, their champion is happily in the playoff.
Yep.
You guys got played. I'm sorry. That's what happened. You joined up. You didn't think about it. And the Big Ten doesn't care about anybody but the Big
Mm.
Ten, as you clearly see.
Yeah. What's the line?
You joined with the wrong
What's the
team.
line? Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. Yeah,
Completely.
and it's again. They had all their chance. And you know what? If you cared about the sanctity of the sport and all that, all this conference realignment when it happened in the first place, you guys would band together
Oh,
and go to the TV networks and
mm-hmm.
be like, "Hey, we're not going to do this. We're not going to ruin our sport because you want us to have this matchup and this matchup and this matchup. You're going to pay all of us,
You
and then
guys,
just pick the best game every week." Like they're, and if they did it the right way, they'd band together as a collective and they'd go to these TV networks and be like, "You're going to give us all the money." And then what you're just going to do is
yeah,
instead of being like, "Oh, this network has the best SEC game this week. This network has the best Big Ten game," just each network bids
mm-hmm.
for the big games and you just go down the list. If one week the SEC game's a top game, cool. If the next week it's a Big 12 game, cool. Like
Exactly.
they've had
Oh,
all the opportunities.
they let the TV folks have all the
Mm-hmm,
power.
mm-hmm.
When in reality, they had the power because without their product on the field, the TV makes no money.
Exactly. Yeah. For all these people, oh, ESPN holds the power. Well, you let that happen. And like
Yeah,
I under
you
yeah.
guys have the product. Without the players on Saturday, the ESPN doesn't have the money. They're showing I don't know what
Mm,
ESPN shows or what CBS or any NBC or Fox shows on Saturday if college football doesn't exist, or it's not as big as it
mhm,
is. But you guys have the teams. You guys control it. You have the product. Without the product, there's nothing to distribute for ESPN to make money off of.
mhm.
So, end of the day, yeah, you guys had the power. You let them get the power, and now you guys want to complain.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
that's on you
it's
guys.
nonsense. Yeah, it's absolute nonsense. You've had every opportunity to make this sport fair
Mhm.
and all this shit, and you
Yeah,
instead got dollar signs in your eyes, and you took the money for the
yeah.
TV networks. That
And then if anything, I mean, if anything, the ACC played themselves again as well, because to Florida State, what does this show you? The ACC is
hmm
worthless.
and not just Florida State. You think Clemson's looking at this? Go, oh shit, that could happen to us too.
Yeah,
Like, yep. Like,
yeah. I mean, it probably won't happen now. We're moving to 12,
uh-huh.
but who knows? Let's say, even with the 12, let's say it's you're looking your 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 teams all have two, maybe your maybe your 11, 12, or 9-3, 9-3. Your 13th is nine and
Hmm.
three. If the SEC team is a 9-3, the Big Ten has a 9-3, and the ACC has a 9-3. based upon based upon history and what we've seen, where do you think they're going?
Yeah, yeah, that ACC
So
isn't. Yeah,
is in that. So yeah, I mean Clemson's, Florida State's, they see this and they're like, and they could be mad at, and Florida State has the players every right to be as mad as they
hmm
want to be. The fans every right to be as mad
hmm
as they want to be because they have really no say in it. The higher ups that have all to make all the decisions, you had a hand in whatever's
A
happened.
direct hand, not just an indirect hand, but direct
Yeah,
hand. And even if
yeah,
you're going still with the ACC, even if you don't take the chance and make the playoffs right and all that, they never
mm-hmm.
strengthened their conference with realignment. They went and
Mm-mm.
they killed the Big East, but that it didn't help them really. Like adding Miami and Virginia Tech back in the day, yes, that was a good call. At least brand, it hasn't really paid off with Miami and fumble. Um, it was a good defensive play by Seattle
Yeah,
right there. Just watching. Uh, even
yeah, it
they could
had
have
to.
gone and added bigger teams. They could add upcoming program like UCF. They could really lock down their
Yeah.
region, but they never did that. They never strengthened.
Mm-mm.
Um, and
And they really, took a hit with Florida State taking a step back,
mhm,
Miami never evolving into what Miami
yeah,
was. I mean, Virginia Tech's kind
falling
of
off.
gone to
Hmm.
a middle tier. They've kind of taking a hit. But it's been like that for a while in the ACC. Because remember, even when in the early, for a while, Maryland won,
Mm-hmm.
Wake Forest won. I mean, the ACC before Clemson kind of took over after 2013. I mean, it's been a real weird conference. There hasn't
Mm-hmm.
been any. And Florida State fell off kind of hard.
Yeah.
And before Jimbo Fisher got there for his little small run, I mean, they had fallen on some
Yeah.
very
The
hard
end of
times.
the Bobby Bowden era was very rough.
It was
Yeah.
horrible. It was rough. It's painful to watch. You hated to see it
Uh-huh.
happen, but he probably should have stepped away 5 years
Yeah.
prior than what he did. And then that left a lot of people in bad spots because there's a lot of people said, "Well, Bobby got treated badly," and that kind of put people, mad at the
Mm-hmm.
program. Supposedly that's why. So I've heard that's why Dion's been, had his issues with the
Mm-hmm.
program is because how they Bobby out, but at the same time, maybe with Bobby staying a little longer than what he should have, kind of put the program in a bad spot as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, it's really was a weird time in the ACC. I mean, they had a lot of, weird champions, and no one really gets you excited. National. It's going to get you the national TV spot. I mean, Wake Forest went in, Maryland won for a while. For a while, Boston College was a thing when Matt Ryan was there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was nice, but I mean, that's not going to get you any national excitement for
No,
real.
yeah. But yeah, they weren't winning those
Let's be honest.
outside of Clemson. They weren't winning those big
No,
interconference games. Um,
no. Like the ACC fell in some rough
yeah.
times, and Clemson kind of pulled them out, and now Florida State seems to be on the road back to what they once were. But the ACC is barely around right now. And honestly, if they didn't have that crazy buyout, they'd be in a much worse spot than what they are now because Clemson and Florida State would definitely be gone by now.
Yeah. Exactly.
But they're just stuck in that crazy clause where they like it's like $250 million to get out if they leave before 36 or whatever it is. It's
Mm-hmm.
a shitload of money. Like it's
And
crazy.
if we really want to go back, Florida State, you could have joined the SEC instead of South Carolina and back in 1990. So now, granted, does Florida State still have that same
Different
run?
time.
Yeah. Uh,
Who knows?
um,
We don't
yeah,
know.
we don't know. I mean, personally, I'd love to see it.
I mean, it's been
Yeah,
fun
there's an alter.
because you gotta think like, can you imagine like, I mean, not just, I mean, it was already a game every year, but I mean, if that was even bigger, not only possibly winning the SEC East every year, come down to Florida State,
Mm-hmm.
Florida in the '90s,
Ooh.
and then also, I mean, you look at it too. You get a Peyton Manning versus a Florida State in the mid '90s
Oh man, yeah.
every
Some of
year.
those great games.
Oh boy,
Occasionally when Florida State would play Alabama, Bobby Bowden versus the team he grew up cheering for, team he could have
that would
he
have
could have
been
been the
great.
coach of before the 90s too, if the
Yeah,
Alabama board of trustees hadn't ruined that. um,
right.
yeah, you talk about your alternate timelines there. Imagine if Bobby Bowden had
Hmm.
I think he would have been,
Been in,
instead of Bill Curry, I think
huh,
that was the timing if I remember.
yeah, you're right. I believe it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, that's just wild to think about what could have been.
Yeah. uh
Who knows? Maybe Alabama has that run in the '90s that Florida State
yeah.
had. Not that the '90s were terrible for Bama, but
No, I mean,
just not
yeah, Gene Stallings there, he's there 7
quite a run.
seasons, averaged 10 wins a year,
Yeah,
national title, SEC title. Um,
right.
a
Just not always top.
yeah, a hair away
But
from playing
yeah,
another one in 96,
yeah.
94.
They.
I can't, no, 94 would have been it. Yeah, they lost
No,
the
yeah,
1 point, 2 point SEC title game to Florida in the last couple minutes or
yeah,
so. But yeah, I just wanted
yeah.
to get that. I've been holding that kind of ran in all week, and again, we get it. Florida State players, we felt terrible. We still feel terrible for them. Like they did what they were supposed to
Right.
do.
Like, they did what they were
Mhm.
supposed to do. If you're a fan, you have every right to be
Mhm.
pissed off.
But
But
all these people talking about the
as
sanctity of the sport and all
coaches,
this shit, yeah, it's bullshit.
yeah. especially the folks that have the power to have the say.
Hmm.
Like, come on.
Yeah, we'll move on. Staying in college football real quick. Just some coaching and transfer portal stuff. Coaching real quick. Duke hired Manny Diaz. Tulane hired Troy coach John Sumrall. James Madison replaced Kurt Signetti with the Holy Cross head coach Bob Chesney. Former Vanderbilt coach Derek Mason going to Middle Tennessee State. Um, One of my favorite football names, Bronco Mendenhall. He's
That is a
yeah,
heck of a
former
name.
Boise State and Virginia coach, or former BYU Virginia coach. Yeah,
Yeah,
BYU.
BYU.
He is now in New Mexico. Um, Still open. I didn't find anything. I don't think, but Troy, Nevada, and UL Monroe, I believe, are the openings still. Um, Good hire, I think, for Tulane to replace Willie Fritz with John Summerall. Good few
Yeah,
years at Troy.
good hire. Hmm.
Um, Anything you want to say on any of those?
I mean, yeah, I still think the weirdest one still was just the. And you said it last week. Why would it? I just don't understand why James Madison coach thought that the move to Indiana was the way to
Yeah.
go. Like I just don't understand that move. Indiana's never gonna be a football
Hmm.
power. That's just not what they're ever gonna be. I mean, they show up at times. I mean, they were, fun to watch when Randall L was there,
Hmm.
and they were fun to watch when Michael Penix was there before he got injured.
Hmm.
Outside of that, it's not a place for football. Never has been. Like, why you make that move? You could have clearly stayed at James Madison, continue to build that up, and uh, bigger names would have come calling
I mean, yeah, maybe
eventually.
your next round of realignment. I mean, James Madison gets a call up
Yeah.
somewhere to the ACC or something because that is a
Hmm.
program. I think, yeah, we talked about it last week. They have a ton of fans, ton of alumni. They support that program with the resources, money.
Yeah.
That's a lateral move at best. And you mentioned
That-
Indiana's not building a power. Hell, they're still trying to get their basketball team back to where it once was.
Yeah. Right. I just don't. I mean, I just don't get that move at all. Yeah, I understand moving up to the next level, but not every job is meant to be taken
Hmm.
if you don't have to. Like he had better opportunities coming, I would
Yeah,
think.
right.
I would have
Stay
died.
another year at James Madison, and at, if you have another great year, there's probably going to be a good big time school job open up.
Yeah,
So
something better than Indiana for sure. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Indiana's a place you kind of go 3, 4 years, and honestly, they move
yeah,
on from
and
you.
maybe that's his thinking. Maybe this is just his next step up the ladder, so to say.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, I guess if you do turn around Indiana, you have even a couple of, 6-6 seasons,
yeah,
that 7-5.
yeah, get into a
That
couple
Indiana
bowls. Yeah, I mean,
maybe so. Maybe that's his feeling, but I don't know. I would have held out, but hey, you know, obviously knows kind of what he's doing, so
mhm.
see how it goes for him. I just hate to have him just disappear in the coach and everybody forgets all about him after his Indiana time.
Yeah.
But
Um, Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Oh, damn, nasty
uh,
tackle. Yep, there's a flag. Um, and then transfer portal stuff. I guess the big news this week: Oklahoma quarterback Dylan Gabriel is now Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel. Phenomenal pickup for Dan Lanning there.
that is, and just his style. I think he fits that Oregon system
Hmm.
perfectly. I mean that's just quite the transition. I mean, I'm sure Oregon would have had a fine quarterback come in. Who they had in the program just because they do well recruiting wise and seem to always have a decent quarterback. But I mean to go from a Heisman guy to Dylan Gabriel, and Dylan Gabriel had a two spectacular years at OU there. One more year,
Hmm.
so I mean Oregon should going into the Big Ten. I mean they should be right in the
Hmm.
mix as a contender for sure. Definitely not dropping off offensively.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a better offensive display than this Vikings Raiders game, which is still
Oh,
zero to
wait, still
zero with
0,
less than 10 minutes in the fourth quarter.
8 minutes. That is ridiculous. These are $1 million NFL guys, and nobody can score.
Yeah, and we're not talking about two of the best
Like,
defenses either. These are middle of the road defenses.
no, yeah,
Yeah,
like this is that's just
yeah.
ridiculous.
It's a good thing I have Red Zone,
Wow.
and I only see the highlight plays from this one because it has
Mhm.
not been a.
Imagine if you only had a CBS or would be on CBS, but if you were stuck with that at your regional
Oh,
game,
yeah, right.
how bad would be?
Yeah, right. It's a I think it's a Fox game, and yeah, imagine if you got oh no, get positive yardage.
I mean,
Christian McCaffrey.
even right now, like Raiders fans and Vikings fans are like, man, I'd rather be watching the the Bills and the Chiefs or the Niners and the Seahawks. Like we don't even want to watch this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you could be watching this Seahawks Niners game right now, but
Yeah,
um,
or the Chiefs and the Bills. Like, yeah, that's just not what you want to
but
watch right
yeah,
now.
other than that, I don't think any big names have really landed yet. Kyle McCord, Ohio State quarterback, entered the portal. That was kind of a shocker to see that. Um,
That was an interesting one. I'm sure. Think like with with him, I think the biggest thing is just that people were just so hard on him. I think he had some just because people thought the offense was gonna be so
mhm.
prolific and he coming in and just wasn't as good as what they've become accustomed to. But I mean, they've honestly had what 3 first round draft picks in a row at
Yeah,
quarterback. So I mean, you had big shoes to fill. And then the other thing too, I think just how at the end of the after the Michigan game, the coach kind of threw him under the bus.
hmm
He said, we had a chance that final drive. It's just like, dude, you completely threw his quarterback under the bus
yeah.
there.
It's a
Like,
little like, ooh, okay, Ryan Day. Um,
yeah,
Yeah, I wonder if he might not be a guy that drops down a level, maybe goes to a really good group of five school. Um, I don't know.
because honestly, I don't think top school is gonna really
Yeah,
because I don't. He's he's a decent quarterback, but I don't think anybody's looking at him as their guy who's gonna take them to that next level.
right.
No, I've heard of being in Nebraska. I've heard that he's had talks with Nebraska, and that'd be a big come up for
hmm
them. So I mean, maybe work out well because they've had a trash. They were terrible at quarterback this year,
Yeah.
and
Um,
so I mean, maybe that will work out well.
yeah,
But
maybe that's a.
who knows how that?
Yeah, I'm not sure where Kyle McCord is from, but yeah, maybe that's what Matt Rule needs there to kickstart his.
Because I mean, honestly, I mean and I feel bad for these Nebraska fans because they had like 3 or 4 chances in a row to get to a bowl game.
Mhm.
The last month of the season, they had 5 wins, and they lost all the games. They lost to Maryland, they lost to Wisconsin in overtime, and they lost to Iowa on the
No.
dumbest possible.
I mean,
Like I
that's
feel
been Nebraska's curse since they fired what's
yeah,
his face, Bo Pelini, who did nothing but win
yeah,
9 games there, and
right. The fan base just didn't think they're friendly enough,
uh-huh,
and they
yeah,
too gruff and not didn't come to the events happily, and
yeah,
yeah. So that's sometimes what you get. And now I know that they would love to be at the 9-3, 10-2 team
yeah,
every year.
right. Um,
But
yeah, talk about another team that their conference move did not really work out for them at all.
yeah. The money wise,
Yes, yeah,
yes. Else everything else, not so much. But I will say Nebraska has turned into a volleyball school,
yeah.
number one volleyball.
um,
Honestly, the most impressive part about that is just off the that they actually have a positive money line in
wow,
volleyball
really? Yeah,
revenue.
that is impressive. Um, but yeah, moving on. Yeah, like I said, Trevor Etienne, Florida running back, of course, little brother, or cousin, what brother of Travis Etienne.
Yeah,
Uh,
cousin, brother. Yeah, look,
yeah, he is entering the portal,
uh,
so that's a kind of a big name weapon at running back out there. Um, Alabama only two players so far. Freshman Isaiah Hastings didn't really play much, if at all. Defensive lineman, and then Ja'Cory Brooks, hero of the 2021 Iron Bowl. Um, he entered the
mhm.
portal. He kind of really, after that game, didn't really do much in Tuscaloosa.
He did. Yeah, I really thought 22 was gonna be his
Hmm.
time. Just to be the star because he showed some signs of it in that 21 season. And yeah, 22 didn't go well. And then there's all rumors that he has the big got in Nick Saban's doghouse at the start of this year
Yeah.
and never really got out of it.
Mm-mm.
So, but hopefully, things wherever he goes,
Yeah. Yeah. Good
he
luck to him.
gets looking. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I always appreciate what he did in 21 on that
yeah,
drive.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, that catch, it's still, you talk about what Bryce did on
Phenomenal.
that drive, obviously, Bryce Young being the man, but that was, not just a perfectly placed pass by Bryce, but his footwork, Brooks's footwork to keep in bounds and hold on to that ball was absolutely spectacular.
Exactly.
Um, all right, that should be enough with college for this week. We can probably do our bowl previews more next week. Um, NFL football, we didn't talk much of it last week because we recorded so early in the day. Big thing out of last week, of course, the 49ers just smashed the Eagles in Philly.
My, my
Yeah.
goodness. Kind of say, hey, we're the best team of the. They took that little hiatus
Mhm.
in October there, and kind of since then have bounced back. And yeah, clearly the favorites to win the NFC by
Yeah,
far.
I think
But
kind of declaring themselves Super Bowl favorites too, with just the way
yeah,
they won. Like we said, in Philly, you went into Philly and they smashed them.
I, yeah, wasn't even a game.
Um,
That was not that so much they won, but just how they won. Like
yeah.
wow, just wow.
And then this week, or excuse me, the one other thing last week was Green Bay upsetting Kansas City.
Kansas City is
Yeah, they are
struggling.
currently losing to Buffalo right now, and
Oh, 14 at
yeah,
home,
uh,
but it comes down to no matter you have to have your lack of wide receivers are gonna come back to haunt them, and it looks like it's started early to maybe folks back
mhm.
because that time that looking pretty pretty pedestrian at times. Like
Yeah. It looked maybe Rasheed Rice might develop into that guy. He's definitely seems like he's getting better every week. But yeah, you're not going to replace Tyreek Hill. He's just kind of a unicorn, one of a kind guy. But the lack of a true number one receiver there, yeah, it's really hurting the Chiefs.
yeah,
Um, and then that was just kind of the big things we missed last week. This week, the 1 o'clock game was a big thing. Was the Ravens overtime winner, a punt
yeah,
return touchdown, just absolutely spectacular return by Tylon Wallace. 76 yards, kept in bounds, kept his balance. Just a nasty Baltimore day. Um, Rainy, a lot of people slipping and sliding. Poor, it looked like poor our boy Marlon Humphrey playing his first game in about a month. He looked like he needed new cleats. There's a couple throws on that last Rams drive in regulation where he just fell over twice and could not just stay on his feet. Um, just one of those nasty days. Huge
yeah.
win for the Ravens. Moves into 10-3. They're fighting the Dolphins for home field advantage right now in the AFC, and they have one of the toughest remaining schedules. So huge win for my Ravens there. Your Cowboys,
Mm-hmm.
of course, they got their big one tonight. They play the Eagles in Dallas. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I just want we got to get a win that
Hmm.
matters. We beat all the little guys, but our two big boy games we lost. I mean, we could have easily won in Philly. We had plenty of opportunities. It's time to just put up and win a game. Just got to go out there and do it. And that puts us right in the division race because for a while it looked like Philly was running away with the division. Now, I mean, we win tonight, we're tied.
Mhm. Um,
If we can't get up to win tonight,
yeah, when
no, they should be ready to go. You're playing your rival at home to tie for going to the basically the last month of the season tied for the division. So I mean, if you're not motivated to go and win tonight, I don't think you'll ever be motivated. So
yeah, yeah, like you said, a Cowboys win tonight draws them level with the Eagles. It splits the season series. Gives them a real chance to steal that division here in the last month of the season. Um,
so if anything too, Dak has a big day. I mean, that puts him as a definitely MVP contender for
yeah,
sure. He's put up big numbers, but beating a team that everybody sees as a powerhouse in NFC, that would further his cause for sure.
yeah. Still no score in the Vikings Raiders. Um, we said 49ers right now playing the Seahawks. They are winning by 12. Trying to even create even more separation in that division for themselves. The Broncos still staying hot, beating the Chargers. Looks like I think Justin Herbert went out of that game with some type of injury. They're up 17-0 right now as we speak. Um,
But the Chargers, man, it's just a matter of time before they change that whole front.
yeah, I just
that
do
whole,
not see how Brandon Staley survives. Definitely not the all season, but I'd be surprised if they don't pull the trigger on him before the season's even over. Um, Buccaneers took the lead of the NFC South today with a win in Atlanta. Good comeback. Um, so they now at 6-7 lead the NFC South. The Bears upset the Lions earlier today. The Bengals upset the Colts. AJ McCarron made an appearance in that one. Joe Flacco had a throwback day, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns to beat the Jaguars. Um, and then what was the other? Oh, the Jets kind of really smashed the Texans today.
Zach Wilson actually had a good
Yeah,
game.
300-yard day himself. And then Thursday, yeah, the
But I was
Patriots beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. There are a
ugly.
few things certain in sports, but the Patriots beating the Steelers is kind of one of them.
Yeah, it just happens.
Yeah.
But that was a ugly.
Oh yeah, very ugly. And then weirdly, for some
Hit.
reason, there's two Monday night games tomorrow. I'm not really sure about that, but Titans and Dolphins and Packers and Giants, which oof, talk about. Yeah,
Two horrible
yeah,
games. Like, like I don't like like. I guess maybe going into the season, but man, you gotta figure out how to flex out of that one. It's got to be something you could do. You can't have both of those be your prime
yeah.
time
It's
games.
it,
Like,
it's weird
come
because
on.
they now can actually flex Monday night games, and they've already announced they've done it later in the year for a Patriots for somebody game. They've switched the Monday night,
Like,
but you're telling me you can't get Packers and Giants off for literally any of these other games?
y'all know like that.
I mean,
And I'm at the CBS. I'm like, nope,
yeah, yeah,
nope, we don't want it.
yeah, right.
Not one.
Yeah, they're trying to be like, hey, we're going to move the Bills and Chiefs. Like, nope, nope, you're not.
Yes, absolutely not. The SEC, you're not getting this one.
Not pulling this shit again, damn it. um, but yeah, all right, that's probably good enough NFL for the week. Moving on, NBA in season tournament wrapped up this week. The Lakers and LeBron and AD, your inaugural in season tournament champs. Please get a name for this tournament. Call it the NBA Cup. Call it something. Call it the Jordan Cup. Call it the Bill Russell anything. Um, yeah.
Anything, but
Um,
in season
yeah,
tournament.
just a horrible showing by my Pelicans in that semifinal game, a 44-point blowout loss to the Lakers. Even prompting Zion to come out after the game and saying, "Yeah, we got to do better. We played like shit." Um, it's surprising too because they've been really kind of hot of late, and him and Brandon Mingern in particular have really kind of figured out how they coexist together. They got a lot of guys coming back. CJ McCollum's back from injury. Trey Murphy's back from injury. A lot of their key guys coming back, and they've started to play really well. And that was kind of a surprising result the other night. But so, what do you think after your initial impressions of the in-season tournament?
I thought it was, pretty. I still think it's a little weird, but I thought it was, it was entertaining. I think they did a good job of marketing, as the NBA always does. I mean, they're master marketing, if
Mm-hmm.
anything. And they've always, of course, made sure, and they did a great job of, making sure that at least the semis and the finals were, games by themselves. So I mean, nothing else going up against those. So I mean, I think they did a really good job. Yeah, I think it worked out well for them too, having the Lakers in the finals because the Lakers are going to get
Mm-hmm.
numbers. So that's a draw. Um, and, if anything, it further, with the finals and the semifinal being in Las Vegas, I mean, I'm sure that gets will further going. As sooner than later, we're going to have that NBA team in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It might go well there, so season tournament. So I'm sure that the semis and the finals there. So I'd say mm, five, 10 years max. We're probably going to have a Vegas team.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like we're definitely headed that way. They'll expand the league by two teams, definitely Vegas, and probably, I imagine, another Seattle team. Getting them team back, rightfully so. And hopefully they can get the name Supersonics back too. I don't know
Oh,
what they did, if they did some type of deal like Cleveland did with the Browns where they sued for the rights to keep the
I would
history in the name. But
be, yes, bring it back. Giving folks something.
but yeah, like you said, it's something different. It's something to add a little interest in this part of the regular season when football dominates so much. I personally, I love the courts. Not all of them are great,
I
but they
do
were cool. It was cool to see some weird stuff like that, and the different uniforms, of course. Um, really cool. Ooh, who is who are the Chargers back up here throwing that bomb? Now he's running.
too.
No, that is incomplete. Yeah, who is the Chargers backup? That man just threw about a 60, 70-yard air pass right there. Um,
Let's see.
Crazy. But yeah, I thought it was a good success. Like I said, disappointing result for my Pelicans, the way they went out. But otherwise, it's cool. I still think that NBA should start their season on Christmas Day, move it back a little bit,
Yeah,
but that's another discussion. And then staying on the hardwood, Alabama, tough loss yesterday to Purdue. A great game. Played it up in Toronto, right? For uh, whatever tournament they're playing in. Um,
and that's why. And I mean, the tournament was built for our guy, and he decided to go pro. It been much celebrated yesterday in his
oh,
hometown in Toronto. There,
yeah. What's his face?
can't even think of it. I guess we don't care that much. Can't even think
Was
of
it
his name
was
right
it the
now.
dude, tall dude, right? The one that went in the.
But we went to the Spurs. He decided to go pro
Oh
second.
shit! Who the hell? Yeah, we're blanking here. We'll think about it as soon as we stop recording. But yeah, tough loss. I think we mentioned it. We were talking before we started recording about it. Purdue's offensive game plan seemed to be throw it to Zach Edey and let the refs call some soft ass fouls on him. Um, it was just
It was frustrating as
yeah,
heck.
yeah. That's the right word.
Yeah, the Chuck Bediako, Charles
That's
Bediako.
it.
That's who
Yeah,
I was. He's one of them.
old Chucky.
And yeah, I mean, if he had come back this year, I mean, I think that of course he wanted to go. Can't blame him for wanting to go pro, but just the fact that it would have been a home for him, and he probably would have been a bit. I would like to see that matchup with Edie just to see, because at times he has great defense. But- so, but there's still. I like the effort more. The defensive effort seemed to be better yesterday than what it was against Ohio State and what it was against Clemson. But it just comes down to even with the refs, you know, had chances to win the game. You'd like to at least win one of these bigger non-conference
Mm-hmm.
games. You know, to come into Omaha this week. Hopefully, I get to
Mm.
go playing Creighton, and then playing Arizona. You like to at least win one of those, whether we do or not. But long term, I think it's still good for the team. Just seeing these good teams, and when we get to the tournament, what we'll be playing. What type of teams you're going to have to be able to beat to be a champion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good for the players to see. I think it's long term. If we might be a bubble team of just with how things go, but you can't say that the schedule will definitely help us out with the tournament committee, and if we could pull one of these next two, that would be huge before we head into SEC play.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we should note a spectacular game from Mark Sears yesterday.
Oh, well,
Um,
he was hot from that
uh,
three. We dropped what 30 on him,
35.
and
Yeah.
just 35 and just shot. And not only was he hitting threes, but I mean he was just consistent throughout, efficient scoring, and really he's had a heck of a season to this
Mm-hmm.
point. I mean he seems to be the most consistent guy every week. Other guys step up here and there, but he has definitely been the most consistent guy that we've had.
Oh,
So
wait. We might
just
have breaking news alert. There have been points scored in Minnesota and Las Vegas.
look at that
Uh,
points,
a field goal for the Vikings. Um,
and that might be all she wrote. Then that's all.
yeah,
That is
a
really
minute
crazy.
57 left in that one, so we'll see if Las
Now,
Vegas has
now, wouldn't that be something to get 10 points in the last
2 minutes to
2 minutes
game. Yeah.
after 58 minutes of nothing?
Um, but
Oh
yeah,
man,
to go back to Alabama hoops real quick. Yeah, by far the best 3-point day of the season for the team. 19 of
yeah.
46. It's 41% from three.
And normally in those situations, we're going to come out the winner
Mm-hmm.
if we're shooting over 40% three.
But yeah, like I said,
Which
it's
of
tough
course,
to beat a guy like Zach Edey when he's getting all the calls.
I mean, he's good enough as
Mhm.
is. I mean, it was going to be tough enough to beat him as is, but I mean, you can't even really play defense against him
Mm-mm.
either because you're not going to. And that's the thing. What that makes it worse because once the ref set the tone of early in the game, we got in that early foul trouble. Then every time they come in, they're thinking, it gets in your mind, how can you play defense? Because you think, oh, they're gonna blow the whistle every time. So that just throws off your whole defensive,
Mm-hmm.
just the way you play against a player like that, because you think they're gonna call everything. So I don't know. You hate to. I mean, we had chances to win regardless, but yeah, you hate to see that definitely had a major effect on the game. But that seems to happen a lot in college ball these days. The refs seem to have a big hand in a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
So
Um, and it's kind of weird like that too, because usually with those big guys, it's the other way around. They don't get enough calls because they don't take the impact quite as much as like a smaller guy might, and the refs don't call it.
but yeah, he seemed to everything. If you breathed on him,
Yeah, it was
boop.
just
Like my.
Yeah, there was one particular
Like,
later in the game when it should have been at worst a jump ball on the block that we. Oh,
yeah.
I don't know if there'll be a comeback interception by the Vikings. Um, should be able to take a knee and run this one out. Oh, a nice little backflip there. Uh, but yeah, hopefully going forward, like you said, the Tide can take some momentum off of what was a great performance. You just had Edie and then Braden Smith for Purdue too. 27 points himself.
Yeah, yeah.
Hit some huge shots in the second half. Um,
Yeah, he seemed to break our back
hmm
so a couple of times, but we cut it to like 3, 4, and he did a big three. It's like, golly.
No, yeah. Anytime
Yeah,
Alabama would either take the lead or, like you said, they get really close. Next thing you know, Braden Smith
yeah.
either gets a big,
He
yeah, he
shot the
got a
light.
big pass or made a killer shot.
Hmm.
But yeah, like you said, hopefully we can take that momentum. Hopefully those 3 pointers keep dropping and we can knock off Creighton or Arizona or both.
Yeah, hey, that would be ideal. But yeah, if we could get one, that'd be, at this point, that's what we would need. I would say, because honestly, the SEC, outside of Tennessee, I mean, there's no one that really worries me that
Mm,
much. Not saying the things that the SEC we know is going to be a tough conference. They're going to come every night. You have to bring your A game because you're going to get some good
mm-hmm.
games, and there's a lot of talent there. But I guess as of right now, Tennessee looks like they're definitely the favorites. Just with what they've done, had some big out of conference wins there themselves. But still a young season. Still definitely get our SEC crown again. So I think that this start of the season may not look as good on paper, but I think long term it'll help us into what we'll need to be when March comes
Mm-hmm.
around.
And then elsewhere in the just of note in college basketball, Bronny James made his USC debut today after his cardiac arrest episode over the summer.
That's sense.
Yeah.
OT lost to Long Beach State. Wow,
Yep.
didn't win
Didn't
today.
win.
It's great.
Good for him though.
Great to see
Yeah.
him back. Ooh, because that's a scary moment.
Mm-hmm.
Cardiac not to play with. You don't know what could come from that, but to be able to bounce back, and within less than a year, I mean, already back out playing, and that's phenomenal. So good. That's great to see.
Yeah. And then even channeling his dad a little bit had a chase down block today. Um, but yeah. Anything else in the world of sports you want to touch on?
Oh, I think that's pretty much it. Just a lot of big moves coming up in the over the transfer portal in the next month. I mean, there's a lot of big names out there. I probably think the funniest thing was the Oklahoma State running back won the doke and then said, "Oh, I'm in the portal now."
Yeah, and that's a big name. That's
But
a
it was like 30. It was like got the alert that he won the doke, and then it seemed like 30 seconds later, oh, by the way, I'm in the portal as well.
um,
But yeah,
yeah. It should.
so that would be a bit another big name to go. Outside of that, I think we're talked pretty much everything there.
Yeah, like we said,
As we
we'll
head into
touch on bowls next episode. Um, at least those early ones.
right.
And then we'll
Mm,
figure out our
that's
holiday
just
schedule too for y'all. But
and that's just the thing with bowl games. It's just a matter of who wants to play and who doesn't. Like, because you don't know who's motivated to play, and that's why I really don't bet bowl games very much
mhm.
because you never know who wants to play, who wants to show up. Weird things happen in bowl games.
Always a crapshoot. Yeah. But yes, so that should do it for us. Greg, what has been done up real good for you this week?
Well, done up for me real good. We put off Christmas stuff for a while, putting the stuff up finally got everything finished. Got the tree up, lights up. A little behind, but hey, better late than never. Still a couple weeks before Christmas, so that was good to finally get everything accomplished.
Uh,
How about
we're
you?
in the same boat. We just finished decorating our tree last night. Actually,
Yeah.
we got it the day after Thanksgiving, but um, but yeah, kind of the same thing. It's nice Christmas season, full swing. Watching all our movies. Um,
Oh yeah.
we have tickets.
Oh yeah.
I think it's next Sunday. Actually, we'll go see Christmas Vacation at the historic Alabama Theater here in Birmingham. That should be a
Nice.
fun one. I've already watched that a couple of times. Definitely my favorite Christmas movie. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh man, it's hard because I have three that I really love, but close. I might have to say Christmas Story. Real close though.
Um, okay. Yeah, I think Christmas Vacation is probably mine. Um, so
Yeah,
different.
Chris, it's there, definitely up there for me
Yeah.
as well. We actually watched it today, and I don't know the old dude is so great when he's just like this terrible tree
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
blessing. Uh,
The blessing. Yeah, just great, phenomenal.
um, yeah, no. And then I had another question. Oh, is Die Hard a Christmas movie to you?
I see. I really never considered it as such. I mean, I understand the argument, but I don't know. I guess I wasn't really into the movie that much to really. I guess if I were a bigger fan of it, I'd probably consider it just as one. But hey, it happened during the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
so hey, they definitely had an argument for
I'm
it.
about to say I like to at least tease my wife with it. We actually watched that last night. We we pull out all our Christmas movies and we pick one at random to watch, and it's like a special
Nice.
packaging too. It makes it look like a little stocking out on the outside of it, and all that. Oh, oh, Russ, look at that good play design by the Broncos right here. Wide open touchdown there. Um, uh, yeah, I just like it, but then also underrated Christmas movie I want to shout out Friday After Next. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
um, Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie.
it is definitely is. I mean, they even have to fight a Santa Claus still
A
ain't.
crackhead Santa Claus. Um, and then an update for y'all. The Vikings Raiders game did indeed end up 3-0.
Boom, three
It's
nothing
a NFL pro
thriller.
game. In games like that are why anytime when the argument there are three types of football fans. There are football fans, and then there are NFL fans, and then there are
Mm,
college fans. And anytime an NFL
yeah,
fan tries to talk to me about the quality of the game, I'm like, there are plenty of NFL games that are just as crappy.
they kill, they kill me with
Hmm.
that. The NFL, like, yeah. I mean, I like that. I'm an NFL
Hmm.
fan. Of course, no secret. I like college a little bit
Hmm.
more, but the NFL only guy kills me with that. Oh, it's a so much better
Hmm.
product. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
as we see today.
Exactly. Yeah.
uh,
But yeah.
yeah,
Um,
but I would say the NFL, they do a hell of a job with the playoffs.
uh,
I mean, that's where the NFL really shines. Playoff season, NFL, elite.
yeah, for sure.
But,
I do wish they would change their overtime rules, but
oh,
again,
yeah,
another
for sure.
discussion. But that'll do it for us this week, folks. Thank you once again for listening. Be sure to subscribe, give us those good ratings, tell your friends, tell your rich friends, of course. Check out all of the other great podcasts on the Alabama Take Family podcast. You're a wrestling fan, of course, check out the Alabama Slam. They have a new third member of their team there, going a little trios action now. Of course, take all the standards, taking it down for all your TV and pop culture stuff. Um, But yeah, check us out on the alabamatake.com. Congratulations to whoever you are who won the Alabama Take Pick'em League. We don't know who your name is. We're trying to figure out who you are so we can give you a prize. And if you're still looking for,
Yeah, because they were up there the whole
oh
time,
yeah,
weren't they? They
they
led
whooped
the
all
whole
our asses.
team, dominated. Who is
I have
this?
no idea.
Yeah, they
And
completely.
unless
Yeah, completely.
yeah, unless Blaine has figured out something in the past couple days since we talked, but I asked him the other day, and he's like, I have no idea who it is.
And they
Oh
housed
yeah,
us. Like it wasn't even.
not even. They were up in like the
I'm like,
top like
geez,
98, 99 percentile of the whole
yeah, the
competition.
whole time. Like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
Um,
What did they know we did? Obviously, we needed. They need to be betting sports because they had an
yeah,
inside.
yeah. I hope they got a bookie or live in a gambling approved state. Um,
Yeah, because they know what they're doing.
mhm.
Obviously.
And then be on the lookout. We'll set up our bowl pick'em league this week. It'll either be Alabama Take or Taking on Sports sponsored. Not sure. We'll figure that out. Um, and speaking of, get yourself some free good. If you need some last minute Christmas gift options, go to T Public and get yourself some Taking on Sports branded gear. T-shirts, coffee mug, laptop case.
Go wrong with
Yeah,
that.
hey. But again, thank you for listening, folks. That'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next week. Greg, buddy, take it easy, man.
Too, buddy.